Welcome to the Special Needs Kids Are People Too podcast with Amy Bodkin, EDS. Amy is an autistic adult who also happens to be a school psychologist turned special needs consultant and public speaker. She's also a homeschooling mom to 2 autistic kiddos, a yoga instructor, a card-carrying Trekkie, and an all-around fun person. And last but not least, Amy is an advocate for seeing every child as a person, not a diagnosis. Because a special needs kid is just like any other child, just more so. Here's Amy Bodkin.
Hi, I'm Amy Bodkin, coming to you from my new and improved blanket fort, and welcome to Special Needs Kids Are People Too. I am so glad to be back with you guys for our 2nd season, and I have my daughter Jessica here with me today to celebrate.
Hi.
And we are super excited to begin this season talking about something that we are especially excited and interested in.
Yes.
We are going to be talking today about Encanto and Turning Red, because both are new movies that have come out recently that both deal with generational trauma.
Yep.
And that's kind of something that's, well, it's kind of become one of my special interests, I guess you could say, in a way. Because
that is an interesting one right there.
It is an interesting one, but it seems it's become important to me because I've realized that we all have generational trauma.
Yep.
And if we're not careful, we end up passing that generational trauma down when we don't deal with our own stuff.
Deal with your own stuff. It's important.
Yes, this is true.
Self-care is important.
Self-care is important too. That is
Very.
true. But I talk with people a lot about this because a lot of the things that we end up suffering from actually go further back than we think.
Yeah.
And trauma that we experience in some form, even if it's not direct in our own childhoods, really rewrites our biology. I've talked about the book Childhood Disrupted on this podcast before, and I've also talked other times for different speaking engagements about the book The Body Keeps Score. Both of those books are really good at pointing out that the things we experience aren't just small things and that time heals all wounds, because that's not the case. It has to be dealt with, and very often it has to be dealt with more than once. Yeah. So, with that said, let's talk about Encanto.
Woo!
Yeah, that one was probably our most favorite.
I mean, the music is amazing.
The music is fantastic. And I read somewhere that it is based off, somewhat off of 100 Years of Solitude. It's a book.
Yeah, I know nothing about it.
I heard that, though. So, Encanto is basically the story of the Madrigal family. And do you want to tell them the rest of it?
So, Mirabel, who doesn't have a gift,
and all the rest of the family has a gift in this magic house that bestows them with gifts after her grandmother and grandfather ran away from very bad things happening, and her husband died, and they were given this gift of special gifts and a special house. So Mirabel doesn't have a gift.
And so Mirabel kind of has an issue kind of fitting in, because her sister tries to act like she's perfect, or at least seems perfect to everyone. And her older sister always seems to is helping everyone in some kind of way, and all her
Louisa.
Yes, and all her cousins, aunts, uncles, her parents are able to do something, but she doesn't really have a gift that can be able to help anyone really, because she doesn't have one.
She feels left out. Like she doesn't count.
Which is a very understandable feeling.
And what about Bruno?
Yes.
We don't talk about him,
they don't
right?
They do not talk about him.
So Bruno had kind of like a gift of being able to see the future.
Yeah, and
left the family.
Yeah.
But didn't leave the family because he was still there.
Yeah.
But he made everyone think he had left because he saw something about Mirabelle.
And he didn't want to, like...
He wanted to protect her.
Yeah, he wanted to protect her.
And he also realized the problems that were going on and couldn't really do anything about them. So in a way, he was protecting himself.
Which, that's a good thing.
Sometimes we have to put up boundaries and separate ourselves from people we really care about so that we can protect ourselves. And eventually, he was able to reconnect. In this case, it was once the rest of the family was at least sort of a little bit healthier or had at least Mirabelle, sort of.
Doing better. No, we don't know how much better, but they were doing better.
Maybe slightly.
If anyone's wondering why I'm not telling too much, it's because I'm trying to make sure that I'm not mixing the plot with theories about the plot.
Yeah, there are a whole lot of theories out there now. And it's been very popular in the adult autistic community. A lot of people relate to it. And I think a lot of people, like pretty much everybody was talking about it after it came out because I think everybody relates to it on some level.
Yeah. Also, we had a large pandemic that let us think about our own emotions.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Very much.
That kind of thing will definitely bring up things that you were hoping not to deal with.
Yep.
So it's interesting that each character kind of has a different take on things. Like Louisa, her thing is that she is going to be strong. She's going to push down everything and just keep on hanging on.
She wants to
ignore
be
the problems and just keep being strong.
And be useful, being able to have a reason why she's there.
She feels like what she does is what brings her value.
Which is not a good thing. A person is what values.
You are
not what
a value
they do.
as a person. Yes.
Yes.
Her other sister.
Isabel.
Yes.
So her grandma tries to have a social act perfect, and so she does try her best. And she wants to, in some way, be able to do what she wants, be able to do something not perfect. She has this scene with Mirabelle after Mirabelle comes and confronts her and is like, your life is so perfect, and so she explains it's not, and as the song goes on, it becomes less like structured in how it looks and becomes more of this mix of colors. By the end of it, Isabel's dress is covered in multiple colors that don't match and are not entirely pink anymore. It is multiple colors, and someone noticed at one point when Isabel had a bunch of flowers come on her head. There's one white one, I'm pretty sure, and her grandma plucked it off. I remember hearing about this.
Yeah, there definitely was a lot of pressure from grandmother, and some people have suggested that the grandmother saw her as being herself when she was younger.
Because they looked kind of similar, and so she wanted to give her the life that she couldn't live through her.
Right. And sometimes when we have hurts that we haven't processed through, we can accidentally end up trying to relive and change those things through somebody else, which isn't fair to them. Yeah,
it's never fair to them for them to be used as someone's, like, what is the word? I don't know what word I'm trying to find.
They need to be able to live their own life.
Yes.
And not have their life being used to live somebody else's life over again.
Everyone's different, and so everyone has different experiences that they deserve to live through.
Isabel, she had the person that everyone expected her to be, and then she also had the person that she was. It was like she had two people inside of her, and they were basically kind of ripping her apart.
And that's a horrible feeling. It has to be. Having it so that you have one side that you wish people would you could show to everyone and let them see that, but you feel like you need to put up a mask to make people like you.
Yeah.
And that's a horrible thing that people that feel like they need to do that because who they are internally is probably just as great, is probably greater than the person they're showing off to be. No one wants to have a perfect person. Everyone wants to know the real them.
The person that they are in, the person that they are within is valuable because of the person that they are.
Yes.
It's not what you do, and it's not being someone that other people want you to be.
You yourself are what is the part of you that is valued, not, as she said, what people want you to be or what you can do. Mm-hmm. Just being yourself.
And Isabel is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Because she starts to change before Abuela recognizes the issue at all. Mm-hmm. And I loved that because a lot of times people feel like, well, they have to change before I can heal. That's not true.
You can change, and that will be better for you. If they don't change, that's their own problem.
Exactly.
You have to change to make yourself feel better. You need to be able to cope with it, understand that that's happened, and try to move on.
You cannot change them.
And accept it.
Yeah, you can't change them, and you can't control them, but you can control how you choose to react and how you choose to deal with things.
Yes.
So I really, Isabel was probably my favorite character because of that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people related to Luisa because, well, people feel a lot of pressure. And they feel like they need to do all the right things. And if they don't do all the right things, everything will come crashing down and it will be all their fault.
Which is sad.
Yeah, because in reality,
no one's pressuring you to do those things, hopefully.
We're putting the pressure on ourselves because we feel like things need to be a certain way. In reality, things do not need to be a certain way. They are the way that they are. And the more that we can accept that and lean into being ourselves, the better things go.
Yes.
I've heard a lot of people talk about things like vision boards and stuff where you envision what you want for your goals and try to reach for your goals. And what I've found is that I can try and make things happen as much as I want, but what really works is when I allow myself to be as authentically myself as possible.
Yes.
And let things just happen. Because what needs to happen will happen when I just allow myself to be the person I was born to be. Mm-hmm. Trying to be somebody else or someone I'm not usually tends to get me stuck.
Yeah, it's hard being someone you're not.
Yeah, you can't be authentic that way, and it's not good for you. It can cause you health issues.
Yeah.
I did love seeing that Abuela did come around and recognize the issue and worked to heal it.
Which is fantastic. Mm-hmm. It's great seeing that she tried to heal it and make sure that she could get herself and others to be much healthier.
Well, and it was hard for her to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Because she had to come face to face with things that she hadn't wanted to come face to face with, the trauma that led to their miracle.
And that's a hard thing to do.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes people in our lives aren't willing or ready to face those kinds of things.
Yep.
Hi, everyone. So, are you a person? And if you are a person, do you sometimes feel like maybe you don't always belong? Or maybe do you know somebody else in your life who feels like they don't always belong? If that's the case, then this book is for you. It's called A Place to Belong, and it's written by Amber O'Neill Johnston. Amber is one of my absolute favorite people because I love the message that she is putting into the world that we need to honor who we are and to work on becoming who we are so that we can grow strong roots and so that we can go out into the world and branch out and have positive, healthy relationships with others. I love that this is a book that creates all kinds of interesting conversations, whether it's about when we feel like we don't belong because we look different or because we worship different or because we think different or because we learn different, any kind of difference. This is the book for you. Go out and get it, and then join me in my special needs membership as we discuss it as authentically as possible.
I tell parents often that you need to do the work for your kids, because a lot of times we're not willing to do things for ourselves, but we'll walk over hot coals for our children because we feel responsible for our children and we love our children. And sometimes we love our children, sometimes more than we love ourselves.
Yeah. Self-care, again, is important.
Self-care is important. And self-love.
If you yourself feel loved and happy and healthy, mentally and physically, then it'll make your children healthy too, because they see, this is the kind of person I want to be, someone that is mentally healthy and or physical, hopefully mentally healthy. Mentally healthy, I think, is more important.
But your physical health does tend to follow your mental health. If you're not mentally healthy, it does lead to physical health problems, as mentioned in the books I mentioned earlier.
Yes, so being physically healthy, mentally healthy.
Taking care of you.
Yes, it shows. So self-care is very important. And so being like my parent, being mentally healthy and physically healthy and self-care, clearly that's very important and good for me. I should do that. Which there are people out there that don't seem to understand that, which
I would say probably the majority of adults. We are not very good at taking care of ourselves. We get so overwhelmed by all of the sensory input coming into us from the world. And that's everybody. Autistic people, we tend to be especially sensitive, but it's a thing. And also, as we become adults, we start to believe that everything depends on us, that our children won't be well educated if we don't do everything perfectly, that our children will not, be responsible adults if we don't raise them properly. And, I mean, there's obviously ways that we can be bad parents, not,
definitely.
taking care of your children's physical needs.
That is important.
Yeah, they do need to actually eat, and they need to be provided with, shelter and clothing and things like that. But in reality, most of education is actually done by the kids themselves. You cannot make someone learn. You can try and teach all you want, but the learning is something that happens within them.
Yep.
And growth and maturity, all those things are things that happen within kids. So if we provide them with the tools they need, we can trust that they will grow. And I think maybe one of the issues that we come back to with Encanto and with trauma in general is that we have a hard time trusting. Trusting that it won't be the end of the world, that it will be okay, that horrible things can happen and the world keeps turning.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think that we get so hung up on things needing to be the way we think they should be that we try to make them that way. So anyway, so that is some of our thoughts on Encanto. It kind of left us with a very interesting ending because everyone was like, well, is Mirabelle getting a gift through the door? Is the house her gift? Or what's going on there?
I don't think she got a gift.
I like to think that too.
That's how she realized everything was going on, because she was noticing things while others were trying to hide how they were feeling and were using their gift as a shield against the kind of stuff. Just be like, oh, my gift is my whole personality. There's nothing wrong going on. I am definitely not feeling that my gift is the only thing that gives me worth, or something like that. But Mirabelle, she wasn't able to do that. She had to just be herself.
And it did hurt her.
Yes, it did.
It definitely caused a scar.
It's hard to be.
And when Encanto ends, you see that the family is going to be in the process of doing a lot of hard work.
And that is good that they're they're working toward getting mentally healthier.
probably one of the best and most accurate Disney movie endings. That they're all about to have to do a lot of work. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Turning Red.
Ooh.
So this one also was about generational trauma,
It seems that
but different.
it seems Disney is aiming towards being relatable for people.
I think so. And also,
Some
Disney
people.
has a very long history of addressing trauma, although the last few, especially some of the Pixar films, seem to focus more on generational trauma.
Which ones other than Turning Red and Encanto?
There's some that said Brave or maybe Inside Out might have some,
okay.
parts that are similar to generational trauma.
Yes.
Yeah. So Pixar definitely has a bit of a monopoly, it seems, on generational trauma.
They're just, movies are fantastic in general. Like,
They generally are.
gosh, their movies are great.
Yeah, there have definitely been some great movie moments there. But Disney itself, even way back to like Snow White, you have traumas and stuff being addressed. How
Dead
many
parents.
Disney movies have, dead parents or wicked stepmothers or...
And those are things that can be definitely traumatizing
Yeah.
for children. Because, like, a parent, which is something, an important person in someone's life, just suddenly gone,
yeah.
that's traumatizing.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways that Disney deals with different types of trauma in their movies, but these last two, they came out really close together. They both focus primarily on generational trauma, which quite honestly, I've heard a little bit about Turning Red with regards to generational trauma, but I have not heard as much discussion about that one as I have in Encanto,
Yeah.
which I guess I've got to say kind of surprises me.
It's probably because there's multiple characters, and so they're able to relate to them more.
Well, there
'Cause, like,
are
it's
multiple
very
perspectives.
Clear. It's clear. Oh my, Louisa is very much feeling that she needs to be of use. That is a clear thing about her. And her and Isobel clearly have songs that are about how they feel and stuff. While
Yeah,
Maid, she doesn't sing.
you
Okay,
have
she
a
does,
point.
but it's pop songs.
Yeah, you have a point, though, that it's a little more obvious in Encanto.
Yeah.
Whereas with Turning Red, it might be a bit more hidden. What I noticed and picked up on
I didn't
in
think it
that
was that
one...
hidden.
Well, and actually, let's back up. So Turning Red is about May, and she's the daughter of Ming, and their long family line has this gift of being able to have a red panda,
Like,
only
they
they
can
don't
turn
see it as a
into it.
gift. Yeah, they turn
Yes.
into a red panda when they're teens.
Which finally sounds very interesting, honestly.
Sounds entertaining.
Yeah, just like
Who wouldn't want to turn into a red panda as a
it
teenager?
sounds fantastic. Imagine all the hugs you can give by crushing your friends with hugs.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they turn into
Huggins.
pandas as teens, and then the family, as they've moved west, this gift has turned into a real curse, and so they banish the panda using some kind of magic, and so the panda doesn't come out, generally speaking.
Another
and
way
it's
of-
seen as something that's kind of something to be ashamed of.
Another time of people going and shoving their problems into a bag and being like, okay, we're not going to open that, and we're just gonna forget all about them. That's definitely not gonna be burning at the back of my mind and not being able to get mentally healthy here because of that.
Yes, so basically stuffing your problems down.
Yeah, which is a bad thing to do.
But it's also something that is commonly done.
Yeah, and not healthy.
Very often when people feel depressed, a lot of times they'll try to stuff down the feelings of being depressed and the feelings of being feeling really bad.
You need to figure out why they need
Right.
to figure out why they're feeling that way.
But it feels bad, so you don't want to.
It's the first step in getting
It
better.
is, but it's hard, so you
Yeah.
don't want to do it. And so the problem is, though, is that when you press stuff down over and over and over again over time, eventually it builds up enough pressure that it explodes.
Yeah.
And if you remember from the movie, we found out that Ming hadn't told May about her red panda.
Which is a bad thing. You need to tell your children about things that are going to happen.
It is helpful
Yes!
so that you're not surprised
Yep.
Some of us don't like surprises.
A lot of people.
Okay, you and me really don't like surprises.
I don't like change. Yeah,
Agreed.
Sudden. I need to know things.
Definitely not an autistic trait at all. Yeah. We really don't like change, and we also really, really don't like surprises. Generally speaking, that tends to be a fairly common trait.
I mean, it's understandable.
Yeah. So Ming didn't tell her daughter about it, and so her daughter has this panda, has no idea what's going on. Her mom is completely locked up about it because she's so stressed out because of her experiences. And we find out later that her mom basically like really blew up at her mother, her own mother, and became this massive, scary red panda.
Like giant.
Really, really giant.
Yeah.
And so she found it to be completely scary. What I found interesting was that all of the women in this family who had these red pandas, it seemed like the bigger and scarier your panda was depended on
How much you packed it down and like.
if you allowed yourself to be yourself and didn't try to live up to someone else's expectations and didn't try to stuff who you really are down and hide it. And this is a common theme a lot of times with trauma. A lot of times people will feel like they are not valued for who they are. And so they will feel like they have to be somebody that they are not. And then they get lots of praise for being that person.
Masking.
Yeah, for masking, for not being who they are.
Which is sad.
It's very sad because
horrible.
we should value people for who they are, not for what they do,
Yeah.
and not for who they pretend to be.
Yeah. You should like people for who they truly are and who they are inside. And
Each person
Yeah.
is a gift to the world, I think.
yes, definitely.
I know I've told you this before. I like to think that each person has a unique spark in them.
Yeah. Wait,
Their spirit, soul, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes people call it a spark of the divine. You can think of it however you want to.
you need to watch Soul. You haven't watched it yet, I'm pretty
Well,
sure.
then we need to watch that
You
one
need
too.
to. Seriously.
Okay, we'll add that to the list. But each
long
person has some kind of uniqueness within them. Their soul, their spirit, a spark of the divine, however you want to think about it. And that uniqueness is a gift to the world. And when you don't allow that to shine through, you deprive the world of a very unique gift. I often recommend watching Mr. Rogers as well.
Yes, my brother said that you are not truly an adult unless you've watched Mr. Rogers,
I agree.
which is a fact. You need to.
He's amazing.
Yes.
Or was amazing. And he said that people can like you exactly as you are.
Yeah.
And there is no one else in the world who is like you.
Yeah.
And people can like you exactly as you are. I thought that was a great quote.
That is a great thing. Great quote. Just. It's fantastic. It's something that people need to hear, knowing that they will be appreciated for who they truly are inside, and not for the mask they put up.
I also talk about this when I go to homeschool conferences a lot. And I'll be going to the Great Homeschool Convention in Texas with Jessica.
Yes, I will be there!
In July. And one of the things that I talk about is that I use the educational approach or philosophy of Charlotte Mason. She was a British educator in the early 1900s, and she wrote some of her books right after World War I. And one of the things she points out in her books is that she feels that the reason World War I happened was partly due to Germany taking British educational philosophies and then stripping the morality out of them. Because she said that what gives a person or a country value so that you respect their boundaries is basically their soul, spirit, personhood, that stuff that isn't your body and isn't your mind.
That makes you you.
Exactly, because if someone's mind doesn't work the way we expect it to, or their body doesn't work the way we expect it to, you can't just get rid of them
That is horrible.
and make a new one.
That is cruel.
It is very horrible
It's
and cruel.
horrible.
It is. So the reason that we can't do that, though, is because of that spark, that spirit, that soul within us that makes us us.
Mm-hmm.
Because why else would you not just, oh, well, this didn't work, this was defunct, we're going to make a new one. It is because there is something that gives that person value. And it's not how well your mind or your body functions.
No matter how long the person lives, they have made an impact just as much as any other person, and have given the world a
Unique gift.
a gift, whether they lived for a second, a minute, a day, a week, month, or years. They still have a impact in some way, and have given the world an experience that can never be taken back.
That's true. That's very true. And who are we to determine what's valuable?
We are
Just because, someone is famous or looks like they've done a lot or looks like they've changed the world doesn't mean that they are more valuable than somebody else who doesn't look like they've made an impact.
No.
If you've ever seen It's a Wonderful Life, that's another movie that is a great example of that.
Yes.
You never realize just how much one man's life touches another. And It's a Wonderful Life goes through and shows just what the world would be like if Peter Bailey had never been born. You just never really realize how much other people's lives touch you.
Yeah.
A friend of mine had a baby once. He lived a couple hours tops. But I have thought of him so many times over the course of my life because I really marveled at how well loved he was, how cared for he was, and also just the courage of his mom. And I think he deserves some credit for courage as well.
Yeah.
I think it takes courage to live,
Yeah.
no matter how long that is.
Yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think no matter how small, Horton Hears a Who, I think, by Dr. Seuss. A person's a person, no matter how small or how short their life may be.
Yeah.
Everybody has the ability to put big footprints in this world,
Yeah.
even if we don't always notice.
Yeah. This became
So-
very emotional. I mean, what did we expect? It was going to be talking about
2 movies about generational
Yeah.
trauma, and you didn't expect it to be emotional? Come on.
this emotional. I didn't expect this much emotion.
So anyways, Ming and her mother put a lot of expectations on her. Honestly, it's kind of stereotypical because we're talking about an Asian family. There's definitely the stereotype of the tiger mom.
Of like, oh, you got to be very perfect or else.
Yeah, so there's definitely that stereotype. It is a stereotype. It is not true in all situations. However, they are
definitely.
making a bit of a play off of that. And it is based somewhat on a true story. The lady who was, I think, the producer, it was kind of based off her life experiences.
I was not aware of this.
And May's friends play an important role in this movie because
Yes.
they're the ones who help her figure out that if she can be herself, if she can love who she is and embrace her red panda, then it can be a fun and beautiful part of her. And her dad acknowledges that.
Which is fantastic.
Yes, the only reason her mom didn't acknowledge that, at least not until maybe the end of the movie, and even then it was iffy, is because her mom had a lot of trauma that she had not finished working through. She had not learned to love herself for who she was and to give herself the freedom to be herself and to not feel crushed by others' expectations. And really, honestly, that's not on the person setting the expectations. At least not by the time you're an adult. That's on us. We get to decide how we're going to respond to the expectations of others.
Yeah.
It can be a bit crushing for children because children don't have fully developed brains and they don't always know how they should expect to be treated, and so it can be harder on children. But once we become adults, that's on us. We get to decide.
Yeah.
And what's really cool is watching May figure that out as a young girl.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
That's fantastic.
Because when kids can figure out how to move past generational trauma, that's an amazing thing.
That is amazing. Like,
Yeah.
seriously.
Yeah.
It's great knowing when an adult is able to do it, but a child,
Yeah.
and not a child that hasn't had their brain fully develop yet, is able to get past something that their parent may not have been able to get past. Well,
And they're able to
yeah.
shift the cycle.
And that's amazing.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
It's beautiful knowing that a child can do that.
And friends can make such a huge difference.
Yes.
I mean, yes, sometimes her friends didn't always have the best judgment, and quite honestly, I wouldn't always go around getting your life advice always from somebody with the same amount of brain development as you.
I'm getting my life advice from my mom. Thank you very much. Everyone
But
has a friend-like group.
But you also don't want all of your life experience, advice, and relationships come from one small, homogeneous experience. Basically, like one family that's all the same with all the same trauma, because we don't get to diversify and learn from each other that way.
Yeah.
That's why friends are important. Now,
Yes.
hopefully you have some adult friends that you
Yeah.
can trust to give you good advice.
I have some.
Exactly. But, you also, you can't underestimate the value of friends, even if your friends are also teenagers with underdeveloped brains.
Yes, everyone had a friend group that was just a bunch of crazy people, and you were one of the crazy people in it.
We hope so. We hope everybody finds something like that where you can be you.
Yes.
And ideally, you want that to also be your family.
Yeah.
You want to create a family or to be in a family where when you're at home, you can just chill out and be you and not feel any pressure.
And be a weirdo.
Yeah,
A
be
good
weirdos together.
A good description of our family. Being all weirdos together.
Yeah, sometimes we do get kind of weird around our house.
And that's okay.
It's
that's
totally
a
okay.
great thing.
We love that.
Yes.
And the more you can let that hang out a lot of the time, the easier it is to be yourself.
Yes.
So I thought that was really impressive, though, that May was able to make that connection. The other women in her family were not ready to unbanish their pandas because they were still tied up in that generational trauma. But May was able to bridge that gap. And it wasn't because her mom had done the work. Like Abuela in Encanto. In Encanto, Abuela at least started doing the work, and that was part of others beginning to heal. But with May, she started that process herself. And I feel like that's a really empowering message for people who have grown up with generational traumas and are suffering from that, to know I don't have to wait for somebody else to figure it out. I can do the work myself and move forward.
I guess I didn't really realize how impressive it was since I'm still a child and you're an adult.
Yeah. Well,
And so you also have you also have gone to school for psychology, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So you notice that that's impressive. I'm here just like, woo, I like this movie.
well, sometimes, I remember as a teenager, I liked things, but I couldn't always verbalize why. Like, I instinctively knew I liked them, but I couldn't figure out exactly why that was.
I think I can quickly do that and be like, oh yeah, I adore this because of this reason.
Yeah, but sometimes there were certain things that I couldn't quite put my finger on it.
Yeah.
And as I got older, it was easier to put my finger on it. But some of it's also, I think, just perspective. I've watched a lot of people who've had a lot of stuff to deal with, and sometimes it's really hard to deal with stuff.
Yeah.
And it's often unlikely that we finish dealing with all of our stuff. And sometimes we don't make nearly as much progress as we want to.
Yeah, it's hard.
But it's nice and encouraging to know that it doesn't matter if the people ahead of you don't make any progress. maybe they have the biggest, baddest red panda out there, but that doesn't mean that you can't.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. May was definitely such a teenager.
Yeah.
In so many ways.
I'm just watching this and I'm like, yep, that's my age group.
Yep.
That's me being an idiot, doing stuff and be like, well, I'm gonna do something that's probably gonna be stupid, but I'm gonna enjoy doing it. Woo!
Not always thinking with a fully developed brain.
I very much relate to having the insane friend group of crazy people and being one of those.
Yeah. But really cool to be able to see.
Yeah.
Makes you feel for Ming, her mom, and all of the other women in the family. But people have to be willing to do that work, and it's really, really hard. And so I really feel like in a lot of ways, no matter how you fit into these stories or how you see yourself in these stories, and how you see other people in your life in these stories, I feel like it's important to remember to just offer nothing but compassion.
Yeah.
And to try to dig deep and find your courage.
Yeah.
The courage to be you.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is only one person in this world like you. And people can like you exactly as you are.
Mm-hmm.
And on that note, we're going to close for today. We're looking forward to seeing you in the future during season 2. We've got some great interviews coming up this season.
Yes.
I'm super excited about them. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
We hope you had fun listening to today's episode and gained some new insights into the wonderful variety of people in our world. You can find out more about Amy's advocacy work at amybodkin.com. And remember, special needs kids are people too.